Alright, before I get into this, absolutely legendary matchup between Garnet and Akuma, I do need to, do a mini advertisement, I guess, for another game by my parents, aka Gaggle Games. This game, of course, is Bob's Bees. Have you ever liked the idea of Flappy Bird, but thought it was really infuriating and you just hated everybody who could do better at it than you? Yeah, I know the feeling. But Bob's Bees is a more simplified, easier, and more fun version of the game. It's got an adorable main character, and you can even unlock alternate costumes. Honestly, I suggest you go check it out. It's really fun. I'll leave a link to it in the description.
One got knocked down, he won't get up again. The other went knocked him down. One got knocked down, and now he's fucking dead. The other went knocked him out. Combo breaker!
Imagine two polar opposites. I think I did this intro a few episodes ago. Love and hate. Two very different feelings, and then they seem to power the strongest people in fictional history. And of course, with that theme, I thought of these two. Garnet, the loving fusion of the crystal gems, and Akuma, the raging demon of Street Fighter. Oh boy, Akuma. You've got such a shitty track record on my show, despite being my absolute favorite Street Fighter of all time. You lost to Darth Vader, and then to T'Challa, and oh god. You know what, maybe you can do better this time around. So Akuma, being a fighting game character, of course has a cool set of powers and special moves. Akuma is a master of the assassination martial arts style called the Ansatsuken, and he uses the Satsui no Hado, which is basically evil dark energy. Think of it like the dark side of the force, or like the evil spells of Harry Potter. You know, that kind of stuff. But let's actually talk about his actual powers. He can manipulate his ki energy for a couple epic special moves that I'll cover in just a second. He can also use his ki to amp up his stats and even turn into his Oni or Shin Akuma forms that amp up his stats to an unknown amount. He is immune to soul attacks, and as Oni, he gains electrical powers and even gains temporary flight. So on to those special moves I mentioned briefly a second ago. He's got the Go Hadoken, which is a stronger version of the Hadoken, but it's purple and stronger and evil. You know, this is basic kind of stuff. He's also got the Go Shoryuken, which is an amped up evil version of Ryu's Shoryuken. And he's even got a Go Hurricane Kick thingy, which is basically the Hurricane Kick that Ryu and Ken use. Man, you think he would get some original moves. But he has a few, actually. He actually has this kind of pseudo-teleport where he glides across the ground and becomes intangible, allowing him to get in really close to his opponents and set up combos. And of course, he has his signature attack, the Raging Demon, or Instant Hell Murderer, where he basically teleports he glides to his foe and then destroys their soul with one attack. But you can survive this if you either remove your soul from your body or you're tough enough to power straight through it. So on to stats. Akuma's a strong mofo as he's able to sink an island in a single punch, and he was able to, keep in mind this was a several kilometer long island that had mountains on it, and the mountains were shattered in the process. He's traded blows with Oro and Ryu, plus he killed M. Bison when with the Raging Demon while he was at his strongest. Akuma's also traded blows with Heihachi and Jin, and in his Oni and Shin Akuma forms he gets stronger and is even described as a god at some times. He's quick enough to fight M. Bison from Alpha 3, which is when he was at his strongest and best. He's beaten Ryu, who can dodge close-range gunfire, and from handguns, though, not machine gun fire. And he's fought Heihachi, who's caught a bullet with his mouth, and even fought opponents who could cut tank shells in half. But Akuma is actually pretty durable, too. He survived hits from Goken and endured attacks from Oro. He's even fought Ryu on multiple occasions, and his Oni form took in a volcano eruption to the face. Hell, even in base form, he was able to fight Heihachi and even keep up with him and Jin, as well as Kazuya, even when they activated their devil forms. Honestly, Akuma is a durable mofo. But Akuma is also a genius in combat too, despite his brutish fighting style. He's a master of the assassination martial arts style and the Otsatsuken. Being the Otsatsuken. He's also mastered the Satsui no Hado, and he's able to control it with ease. And hell, he's even shown the skill to beat people like Ryu and Oro, who are incredibly skilled warriors who have won tournaments on their own. But don't let his sheer badassery make you think he's flawless. You see, he often holds back in order to see what his opponent's true power is, and he's messed up a few times. He can easily be angered, and he wishes for his opponent to kill him only if they are deemed worthy by him. True love. Honestly, it's beautiful, and I believe that everyone out there has a soulmate, just somewhere out there. But what does this have to do with Garnet, you may ask? Well, Garnet isn't exactly what she seems. Garnet is the fusion between Ruby and Sapphire, two gems who fell in love after Ruby saved Sapphire by fusing with her. Also, despite gems being genderless, they're referred to and look like females, so this review might get a bit confusing because I'm going to be saying she a whole bunch. So, strap in, I guess. So let's talk about their powers, starting with their natural gem powers. So before we even talk about Garnet's powers, we need to talk about what Sapphire and Ruby's powers are. So Sapphire has what's called future vision, that allows her to see into all possible futures and their likeliness of happening. She seems to be able to manipulate ice to some extent as well. As for Ruby, she has more combat-oriented abilities, as she actually doesn't have a power. Instead, she has a single gauntlet and this sort of superheating ability, but it's kind of weird, as she was able to evaporate an entire pool in just a few minutes just because she was pissed off. But when they fuse, they actually lose the ice and heat powers, but she keeps the future vision and replaces the one shitty gauntlet with two higher powered gauntlets that she can launch like rockets, and she can even manipulate electricity with them for quick bursts of attacks. She also has stretchy limbs while fused. But now on to the last few gem powers we need to mention. Well, Garnet's powers, really. She can actually put opponents and allies into bubbles that they cannot break out of unless they have a gem of their own. However, it is hard to do this to a target while they're still fighting and moving. And Garnet actually has shown the ability to shapeshift as well. And being a gem, she also has the power to resurrect if she's ever poofed. If Garnet's physical body is destroyed or poof, both Ruby and Sapphire's gems will fall on the ground. As long as the gems are not shattered, they can actually regenerate to their bodies. However, they will not come back as Garnet, they'll come back as Ruby and Sapphire and will have to refuse. So now on to feats. Garnet is strong enough to fight Jasper, who survived her ship crashing and then exploding on her. And early on in the show, she was able to defeat, with the help of Amethyst and Pearl, she was able to defeat a living island that was considered a tectonic threat. She's fought a clone of herself, and she's obviously leagues above Ruby, who could launch a baseball into space. And if we can trust Sardonic's little strength tester, she's actually stronger than Stefani. Keep in mind, Stefani was able to fight Jasper and actually force her to retreat after beating her giant corrupted gem monster. Now, she didn't beat Jasper necessarily, she just forced her to retreat. As for speed, she should directly scale to Pearl, who was able to pilot a starship and dodge meteors while piloting this starship. She's also fought on par with Jasper, and she's punched lightning out of the way before. Yeah, she's pretty stupidly fast. But when it comes to durability, Garnet is a tough mofo, able to fight Jasper evenly for an extended period of time, and she's taken a beating from even a clone version of herself. And being a gem, she even has infinite stamina. She never needs to eat, sleep, or really rest. Garnet's incredibly smart, as she has the combat skills of Ruby, the analytical thinking and future vision of Sapphire, as well as thousands of years of combat experience from just being alive as a fusion. But Garnet isn't perfect. Enough physical damage can actually unfuse Garnet, leaving Ruby and Sapphire, who are much weaker. Cracking her gems can severely weaken her, and shattering them will completely kill her. Plus, her future vision isn't perfect. If she doesn't see her opponent, if she doesn't know exactly what her opponent is or what they probably will do, her future vision can't necessarily predict it, as seen when she still saw Steven as a child and could not predict what he was going to do. Alright, our combatants are set. Which badass warrior will come out on top in a fight to the death? Steven is sent flying into a wall by a powerful kick as Akuma emerges from the shadows of an alleyway. Akuma begins to charge a Hadoken. As Steven tries to run, Akuma launches it straight towards him, and as the Hadoken closes in, Steven fears it's the end for him, as the Hadoken is shot out of the sky by a flying gauntlet. Akuma looks over in disgust as Garnet lands in front of him with about 5 feet between the two. Akuma then rushes forward and punches straight at Garnet's head, but she moves her head and dodges the punch as Akuma follows up with a Shoryuken from his other arm. Garnet sent flying through the air as by Akuma's Shoryuken. Akuma then stops in midair and forces down a barrage of Hadoken straight towards Garnet. Garnet blocks the blast as Akuma uses his Hurricane Kick to get in close, but Garnet catches his foot and throws him into a nearby building. Akuma stands up and jumps through the building and goes to slam his hand straight down onto Garnet, who moves out of the way and punches Akuma in the gut and follows up with a spin kick. Akuma stands back up and rushes over does an arcing downwards punch towards Garnet, hitting her in the head as he follows up with a Hurricane Kick, launching Garnet into the air, where he jumps up and grabs her by the head and slams her straight down to the ground, creating a large crater, demolishing buildings around them. Garnet stands back up and rushes over and punches straight towards Akuma, who parries and does a high kick towards Garnet, who ducks. And gut punches Akuma and follows up with a quick barrage of punches as Akuma's chest and head get hit multiple times. Akuma falls to one knee as Garnet walks over and creates a bubble around Akuma, but the bubble shatters with a burst of dark energy as Akuma stands back up in his Oni form. Akuma slides over to Garnet, who launches her fists at him, but the gauntlet flies straight through Akuma, who slams his hand down on the ground, launching out a powerful explosion around him, sending Garnet flying, creating a bigger crater. As Garnet is flying through the air, she's met with a powerful flaming Shoryuken from Akuma. As Akuma lands, he sees two gems fall as Ruby and Sapphire look at him in fear. Akuma glides straight towards Ruby as Sapphire runs over and tackles Ruby out of the way as they fuse back together. Akuma looks at Garnet as Garnet rushes at him, extending out spikes from her gauntlets, and punches at Akuma, but Akuma punches her fist, causing shockwaves to ring out. Akuma's eyes glow as he rushes towards Garnet and yells out, "Die 1,000 deaths!" But as he rushes forward, Garnet dashes behind him and lifts up her gauntlets and slams him straight down into Akuma's head, smashing it open like a pumpkin as brain matter and skull pieces shatter across the area. Alright, our winner is Garnet, and this fight looks really close at first glance, but once you pick it apart, it becomes very clear why Garnet claims this victory. So starting with strength and durability, Garnet was able to evenly fight against Jasper early on in the series, who could survive the destruction of her own starship, along with the fact that her and her team were able to beat a sentient island. She also fought but did not defeat Yellow and Blue Diamond, but she was able to hold her own and not die. She didn't necessarily hurt them, but she was able to survive the fight. This pretty much gives Garnet about island to country levels of strength and durability. About high island to like low country being a higher end of that scale. Now Akuma is capable of trading blows with Heihachi, Jin, Ryu, and even Oro, and he's even one-shot M. Bison at his strongest, and most importantly he's sunken island with a single punch. While in his Oni form and Shin Akuma forms, it's unclear how big of a power boost he gets. Akuma should have about the high end of island level with his best stats and best transformations. So Garnet's stronger and more durable, just not by a huge amount. But what about speed? Well, Garnet has punched lightning, she's able to scale the Pearl and can pilot a sub-relativistic ship, so Garnet should be at least massively hypersonic, and at best sub-relativistic, and with her future vision, she should be able to help, this should help her dodge and react to any of Akuma's moves. Akuma has fought Ryu, who can dodge bullets, took out Heihachi, who can catch bullets with his teeth and dodge Hadokens, and he's fought other Tekken characters and fighters who can react to tank shells. So Akuma's a bullet dodger at least, and at the high ends of hypersonic at his best. So Garnet is far, far faster at her best. Another huge factor is her future vision. You see, Akuma is a skilled warrior, but he has a very limited move pool. So Garnet is going to know most of his tricks rather early in the fight, or right off the bat really, thanks to her future vision. And not to mention, Akuma thrives on keeping control of the battle and struggles when he doesn't have control of the fight. So against someone like Garnet who can see what he's most likely going to do, he's going to struggle tremendously. Now Akuma's best shot at victory would be the Raging Demon that destroys the victim's soul. But you can live through it if you're tough enough, and Garnet is far tougher than Akuma. So she should be able to take this attack, if not be able to dodge it with ease thanks to her future vision and superior speed. Looks like Akuma fired a loss to Garnet. Oh god, these things just keep getting worse and worse every time. Our winner is Garnet. Next time on Combo Breaker.
This time, let's build a moat. I could be the crocodile! Jazz hands. Transform!
Yep, next time we have a badass match between two purple people who like to shapeshift and, well, whip. Yeah, it's quite the interesting match, and I know I just did a Steven Universe fight this time, but I just got done catching up on the series and I just love it so much, so yeah, we're doing another one. But yeah, next time is Amethyst versus Shantae. First of all, let me thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this to any friends you know who like versus debates. And, tell me what you think of the next match. Give me your predictions, maybe suggest matches in the comments, and they might happen.